Hello, my name is Meshack from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm a person with albinism and I work for Action Network for the Disabled, ANDI. ANDI is an organization for and by children with disability, youth with disability, and also we work with caregivers to persons with disability. And yeah, today I'm humbled to join this conversation around climate change. And in Kenya, climate change is not a future threat, but it's something that is here with us. And as we are speaking today, we have at least 23 counties which are under threat of climate change with at least 3 million people affected. Among them are persons with disabilities. So joining this conversation is something important for me, also as a person with albinism and disability in general. And I feel this is something that the government and also other stakeholders should consider to bring persons with disability on board to also contribute on disability on climate change and disability issues. And last year we carried out a survey on children and young people with disability uh, to try to see what they experience during climate change. And that survey was crucial because a number of times persons with disability are being left on discussion. So we carried out a survey and yeah, indeed persons with disability have experienced a lot, and the survey will also enable us to see and also contribute on policy making around disability. It's great to be here. From my personal experience as a person with albinism, personally, the prolonged sunrise or rather drought affects me as it caused me to use a lot of sunscreen to protect my skin from the sun. And now I put myself in other persons also out there with albinism who practice pastoralism and who have not that capacity of balancing the basic needs and also purchasing the sunscreen. So we have been affected. And also, as you know, albinism uh, also affect the eyes. So I'm also low vision. So to maneuver around during rainy season, especially during floods, is kind of challenging for me. And I struggle a lot to get the right part where to, and most of the time I find myself even walking on water during a rainy season. And I also just connect with other people with diverse disability because during rain, for a person who is using uh, crutches, it will be difficult for them to also to balance to hold their crutches, also at the same time hold the umbrella. So you find it's kind of tricky for them, and for the total blind also, you find that now transport becomes expensive because they can't now walk. For instance, here in Nairobi, whenever it's rained with poor drainage, it's hard even for those people without disability to maneuver around. Now, for us, person with disability, it becomes a double. It's become a double challenge to us. So I feel like engaging or rather getting to hear the views of persons with disability. It's something that is important, and now in such a conversation, we should not be left out, and we should be considered, and our voice to be heard, and not just to be for sometimes we are even included just for tokenism, but we are talking about a meaningful participation where our voice can be heard and action be taken. So um, during also when it comes to change in weather patterns, like the type of communication, the information are not accessible for everyone out there, because a number of time whenever there is an emergency, you find that most of the communication or other information put out are done on televisions, radio, and sometimes even on WhatsApp groups. But not all people, or rather, because we have a diverse disability, not all people are able to access this information. For instance, talk about person who and have hearing impairment. It's hard for them to access information, because a number of times you find that this information, whenever there's the, let's say, is a video, they are not we don't have sign language to interpret for them, so for them also to get the information. And sometimes even there is lack of captioning in that communication, so you find out that this they miss out from getting the information about emergency, or rather the uh, prediction around weather pattern. So now these make them to not prepare for the predicted weather, rather climate patterns. So they become marginalized whenever that things occur, and also some family even cannot even afford maybe a radio. So you find out that this information don't reach everyone, so they become unprepared. And now climate, whenever there's rain, it just uh, happen to them like a surprise, and this make it difficult for them to maybe to evacuate and move to a safe space. So there is that importance of when it comes to communication, to ensure that whenever there is communication around climate change, uh, preparedness, and also the emergency, this communication should ensure that there is accessibility and also reasonable accommodation, that each and every person, even persons with disability, the also the blind, are able to get this information. And when I say information, also they should consider like the diverse disability, to make that communication accessible for everyone, and also in language that, because I understand even in areas where there are indigenous people, the language also is important, because most of these communication are done in English and Swahili. So you find those people who can't understand English and Swahili also miss out. So there is importance of that, to ensure that people are prepared to are prepared for any emergency. And now during this emergency, we also find that because of the attitudinal barrier, they believe that people have the culture, how they perceive persons with disability. For instance, for me as a person with albinism, in a community where there's no awareness about albinism, you might find that there's that discrimination and neglect. And now put this scenario, now it's during floods, people will just neglect me or rather other persons with disability because of their perception that they have towards persons with disability. So also there is that need of awareness creation so that other people without disability can also embrace persons with disability, so that whenever there's an emergency, persons with disability are not left as out, but also uh, are given priority in terms of evacuation, and also maybe wherever there is relief help like food, they're also considered, instead of now also leaving persons with disability, the children, to also scramble to get that relief or rather food aid. So
Thank you so much, Meshack. Are you able just to maybe just summarize, because also we're running short of time, so just maybe your closing statement?
my closing or rather call to action is that climate climate justice is not my call to action is that persons with disability should be given a seat at the table on conversation about climate change, and because inclusion is not a charity, but it should be an meaningful inclusion, so that we can also speak out about the challenges that we face as persons with disability, because we know where the shoe pinches. So when we speak from our life experience. So I will just end by saying that anything for us without us is against us. So we should be included on climate change conversation. Thank you.